So the question is about the risk of blood clots after vaccination. So the first thing to say is I acknowledge that is a real fear, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that fear. And my role here is to share facts to help you make an informed decision. So in the UK COVID-19 vaccination program, there are currently 3 vaccines available for use, and there's a 4th that's approved that's not yet available. The 3 vaccines available are the Oxford AstraZeneca, the Pfizer-BioNTech, and the Moderna vaccine. Of the 3, the Oxford AstraZeneca is associated with a very, very low risk of blood clots with low platelets. So platelets are factors in your blood that contribute to blood clotting. And there's this particular manifestation, a particular side effect that happens very, very infrequently after the AstraZeneca vaccine, whereby people experience blood clots with low platelet counts. And when I say very low, it's in the order of probably 14 per 1 million doses. Okay, so that's really low. And to put that in context, that is probably less frequent than having a blood clot after hormonal contraception or blood clotting after smoking, for instance. So it's a very low risk, but it is a risk all the same. On balance, the other thing is, even if the blood clots happen, and they're very unlikely, there are quick, effective treatments by the NHS to treat the blood clots. That's the other thing. And thirdly, when you weigh up the balance of risks and benefits, if you are under the age of 40, the advice for the COVID-19 vaccination program is that you should be offered either of the other 2 vaccines, so either the Pfizer vaccine or the Moderna vaccine instead of the AstraZeneca vaccine. So I'll stop there and see if Garrick, I see Garrick nodding as well. So I just want to see if he wants to come in and add anything to that.
Thank you very much, Amish. I think you gave a very comprehensive overview there. And thanks also for the invitation as well to be here with you. You guys are so friendly. I see everyone comes on, you're like, hello, how you doing? This is really cool. Thank you. But, you know, Amish has explained this really comprehensively. What I'll add in addition to that is that it is common to experience side effects from any vaccination. And so once you've taken the vaccine, it's okay to have a bit of joint pain, maybe an elevated temperature, etc. But that's common to last up to 48 hours or so. And what I want to say that if you've taken the vaccine and you have symptoms which are persistent or side effects which are persistent beyond 48, 72 hours, that's a good time to go and seek medical help or medical advice. And as Amish has said, there are treatments available that can counteract any sort of form of side effects that may be presenting itself. As a result, a lot of people will come out of this with the benefits of vaccination rather than any form of risk or adverse effects. So that's what I'll add to that answer, because I think it was comprehensive in covering the question that was asked. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If I could just quickly make a follow-up point as well, the risk of blood clots after getting COVID naturally in the community is actually higher than the risk of getting blood clots from the AstraZeneca vaccine. So COVID's associated with a number of really bad outcomes. It'll often mean that you end up in hospital, require ventilation, but there's also a risk of blood clotting from naturally acquired COVID. And that risk exceeds the risk of the really low risk after vaccination with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
And I may jump in just again, because I think Amir's answer just reminded me of something as well. And it is this, we have to be very cautious here in thinking that everybody who develops a blood clot have to receive in the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine is that clot is due to the vaccine. There is a difference between getting a blood clot in many cases and actually getting the vaccine. So we can't attribute every case of a person taking the vaccine and having a blood clot subsequently. We can't attribute them as a causal effect or something that is associated with each other. So we have to be very careful about how we interpret that information. And secondly, as Amish alluded to earlier, in that those under 40 are not recommended to take that particular vaccine. And it's because when the data was looked at, there was clearly a trend in that if you're in the younger age group, you are twice as likely, I believe, to develop a blood clot from getting the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine compared to people who are age 40 and over. So that was just the data based on which the decision was made to actually not give that vaccine to those 40 and under. So I thought I'd put that into the mix.